Welcome back to American Agenda. I'm Bob Zellers with Heather Childers. MSNBC host Tiffany Cross bashing talk show host Bill Maher over his mocking of Hamilton creator Lin-Manuel Miranda. This comes as Miranda recently issued a statement after being slammed for an apparent lack of diversity in the film adaptation of his new musical, In the Heights. Bill Maher tells Miranda to stop apologizing.
Please stop the apologizing. You're the guy who made the founding fathers black and Hispanic. I don't think you have to apologize to Twitter.
Tiffany Cross now hitting back at Maher.
Okay, Bill Maher has been whack for a long time. From his makeout session with the blackface expert, Megyn Kelly, to his infamous use of the N-word on his show, for which he later apologized, and his continual, mostly white weekly panels where he sings sob songs to them about the perils of the shrinking demographic and chides anyone who falls even slightly outside of his myopic, privileged view. Maybe he even said something highly offensive again last night. I don't know. I stopped suffering through that stale, clumsy monologue and painfully out of touch show a long time ago.
Wow. And it went on from there. He talked about him being in a white fog. Let's bring our panel back in. Steve, your thoughts of this? It seems like the left can't get left enough. When you leave Bill Maher behind, who's a thoughtful guy that's going to call you out when he thinks you've gone too far, I think they're losing touch with even their base.
I agree. Look, Bob, I've never been a fan of Bill Maher. I never have. I hardly agree with anything that he says. But lately, I've been agreeing with some things. I mean, the guy is one of the last liberals. I say liberals because there is really a difference between liberal and leftists.
And socialists, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. And so, Bill, he is one of those guys I don't agree with, but he does call his own out when it's appropriate. And that's why, there's times I do agree with him. I've said it publicly, but they will attack their own. If he's not woke enough, left enough, bowing down enough, Bill's on his way to be canceled. That's the way I look at it, because they've got a target on him.
He's been canceled before. Was it the 80s or 90s, politically correct? Literally was canceled.
Right.
So, Melanie, your thoughts here.
One of the things that really blew my mind about that segment there is that black people can say whatever they want about white people and just bash white people for the sake of being white and accuse them of being too white, and no one says a word.
Right.
They totally get away with it, like she just did. And no one's gonna ever say anything about her criticizing him for basically being too white, being in a white fog, and no one's gonna say anything. And that was I felt like that was a little bit racist, which she just said. And no one's going to say anything because she was doing it to defend him being not woke enough, so it was okay.
Yeah, and Bill Maher's argument is please don't apologize to the guy that made Hamilton, that made the founding fathers in a play African-American. You don't have to apologize for every single thing. And I think Ford, he also had Quentin Tarantino on. He was talking to him recently and basically saying, I wish people would stop apologizing and just say, we can see it differently. Sorry you didn't like it, but this was my movie or this was my play and this is what I did.
Well, like Steve, I don't agree with Bill Maher on a lot of things, but the reason why Cross is targeting Bill Maher is because he's speaking the truth. And the answer is don't apologize. You want to beat the cancel culture game? Don't play the game. And the more and more people who understand the need not to play this game, they're going to come out the winners here, because the entire thing has no end. To your point, it's going to continue until it eats itself. And what it's going to do is make America and Americans worse off for it. We need to have diversity of opinion. And to your point, don't use logic. Yes, in this case, this is the person who made the founding fathers black and Hispanic. But that's the point. You're using logic. This game invokes no logic. So the point is never apologize, because if you apologize, you're losing.
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking, I didn't know who Tiffany Cross was before this.
Well,
so that's what this is. This is Tiffany Cross making a name for herself so that we'll all then talk about it. And that's what we're doing. Much like what Gwen Berry making a name for herself.
Yeah.
So it's all about them. I don't know. People trying to make a name for themselves.
To me, if she's trying to do that, Melanie, it's by saying something so left that, like you said, how dare you? Because if you criticize me, you are a racist.
Absolutely. And that's and they get away with it constantly. It's really irritating. And I agree with the rest of the panelists said and with what Bill Maher said. Do not play their game. Absolutely do not apologize. For what? For having a different opinion?
Right.
Don't apologize. Do not play the leftist game, ever.
Yeah. I think people need to take a look at the bigger picture, though, because our country every single day is becoming more and more divided based on race, based on gender, based on everything, individuals versus all of us trying to come together as Americans. And I think that's what we should be striving for versus, pulling each other apart.
Yeah. So we can continue that conversation in the future. Ford O'Connell, Melanie Collette, Steve Sanchez, thank you so much all for being with us, and we'll be back with more of American Agenda after this.